Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Around the Block. Thanks so much for being here today. I'm Erika, and we also have Douglas here to talk with Uma Hagenguth about what Appics has been up to and their plans for 2023. Uma is the COO of the Instagram-style app Appics, where content creators are rewarded for their content and engagement rather than advertising agencies. Appics is way more than that, though, so today we're going to learn a little bit more about that with Uma. So thanks so much for being here, Uma. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me on, Erika and Douglas. Always good to chat and just catch up because, we're right now in the midst of building, and we have been for the past years. We've been on quite a journey. So it's always good to sort of also reflect on, the things that we've done and sort of look ahead at what's being planned as well, because one of the things, I've been noticing lately is kind of this connection to the community that sometimes you get so caught up behind the scenes that people, don't realize everything that's happening. There's so much going on. And I'm excited to talk a little bit about the things that we've been working on. As well as to just, give maybe an overview of our journey.
I'm really excited to have you here. I have to say I'm a huge fan of Appics, and in the last few months I've sort of fallen off. So I'm one of those people who would love to hear more and get recharged again and jump back on there because I just think it's really exciting. Also, every once in a while I look at the Telos chain and see what the big uses are, and I see Appics come up across there all the time. So I know that people are using Appics on a daily basis, whether I'm hearing about it or not.
Yeah, it's just pretty cool to see how the people really do come back and how our community has really been, strong throughout so many changes. Like migrating from one blockchain to another is not easy. It has taken much longer. Software development in general comes with a lot of challenges. And so super grateful for the community that we have that's been, there to support us all.
Yeah. And you mentioned briefly having to change blockchains too. Can you touch a little bit for maybe people who don't know much about Appics, a little bit about your journey and how we kind of got where we're at?
Absolutely. So our journey with Appics, for anyone who doesn't know, really, I would say started as early as 2016, and my crypto journey as well, because that was the year when I realized that blockchain is now at a point where we actually can create user-friendly applications that allow you to earn tokens in a very simple way by something you already do on a daily basis, which is using social media, sharing content, voting on content, commenting. And it's a new form of social media because the value of the platform through the tokens gets redistributed to the users. So Dan Larimer, for anyone who knows, he's famous for, EOS. And obviously there's, everybody has their opinions on what the blockchain is about or the developers, whatever it is. But you cannot deny that this technology is incredible. And what he built there back in 2016 really initiated the spark and the idea of and it made me realize, wow, this is actually possible. This is an incredible use case for blockchain. And so because my team and I, we have a background as a digital marketing agency, and we were, I was very familiar with social media before. I was helping actually companies go from the real world to the Web 2 to the internet and build, convince them to have a website and have a social media presence. And so then when the next stage came where my co-founder and the CEO, Tony Winchester, he was mining Bitcoin and Litecoin as early as 2013. And he introduced me to crypto, right? And so I heard about it, I learned about it. But then in 2016, when he told me hey, there's now a blockchain, that allows you, we can actually turn interactions into currency. It's wow, this is incredible. Tried it out, proof of concept worked. And then fast forward, to 2017 and 18, where we said, okay, we're going to build something, an app that is now Appics, that is easy to use, where anyone can share photos or videos, and you get rewarded in form of our native token for sharing, commenting, and voting on content. And so we started to build a community around that. Initially, our plan was to launch on the Steam blockchain, which was, the first where the proof of concept happened on. But then for people who have been in the space, they will know and remember that the whole Steemit thing did not fully work out the way it was intended to in the beginning. the two co-founders split up. The company got sold to Tron. And so basically then the community, forked Steam, created Hive, but put all that technical stuff aside. And what happened there, we had done an ICO. We were like ready to start. We were ready to launch in 2019. And then this whole thing happened with our technology partner. So we were like, what are we going to do? Then Telos reached out to us and had been following the project along and loved it. And so we got on a call with like Douglas and, a couple other people from Telos. And we were very quickly convinced that this would be the perfect partner, because essentially we can do the exact same thing, but better, because we can have our own custom smart contract, and we can adjust features to the way we want it to be. And so since then, we have transitioned. We've completely pivoted. Instead of launching in 2019, we used those funds to rebuild ourselves. And for a year and a half, almost 2 years, migrating, fully over to Telos and building the apps. And last year, we launched on the App Store and Google Play Store. So that's about the Appics app. And this is already like a long journey, right?
That is a big history, and it's been a pretty cool journey. I think we ought to give credit to Suvi Rinkinen, the former CEO of the Telos Foundation. She's the one, at least to me, who said, you got to check this out. It's amazing. I'm making $37 a day about my cat.
Cat pics. Right. Yeah. She's always telling me about her cat paying for its own food.
Her cat became famous. She, that's some real cat money, right? You'll buy some cat food there. And she showed it to me, and I was like, wow, this is cool. And she was like, we gotta talk to these guys. That's how that happened. And then, she got us on a call, and we talked a little bit, and then we got on a call with Telos and the whole Telos team, and everybody said, this is amazing. And we put over a year of a pretty serious effort in on both sides, obviously. Yeah. And I'm so happy with the results. Mm-hmm. I would love to see more coordinated effort for people on Telos to just know what it is. But you guys brought us a huge community of people right away. There are people who stayed, and I was actually really amazed by the fact that you retained such a huge amount of your original community through the change. The change you guys made, the migration, is a huge, huge win and testament to what you're trying to do. Not many companies would actually survive through that, and I was always a little bit worried. But you did it, and now you're growing. And if I was wearing a hat, I would tip it right now to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Douglas, for that, because it's like people don't understand really what it takes to go through that, the migration. And of course, you're gonna you lose people along the way, because even to change the keys and everything, like it's not user friendly for somebody. Like if you're not from the Web3, from the crypto space, this is in general already something completely new. And then to go through that definitely takes a lot. But for us, it was always clear, like we have a bigger vision, we have a bigger purpose as to like why we're doing this. So like not a second was there a doubt in our minds that we would ever, stop. Like this is going to continue no matter what. We're going to find a way. Like we're going to, find the right partners. And again, with Telos, this has been incredible. It has only progressed and continued. Now that EVM came out, that was huge for us, because this allows us, as the chain is developing and progressing as well, that enables us to build more features and to give even more utilities to our community. It allows us to build, to connect to different chains and networks. So I think last year was also huge. And while we were building the app and migrating and everything on that front happened, we were already building out the Appics ecosystem. So back then, when you would have asked me, what is Appics? I would say, it's a reward-based social media app on blockchain. Now, when people ask me, what is Appics? I say, well, we're a Web3 development company, and we have the Appics app, but we also have an NFT marketplace that is launching this year. It's right now being tested. Next is, with our ambassadors. Then it goes live, and it'll be integrated into the app. And why is that possible? Because of EVM. Because then you can just connect your MetaMask wallet, and you can directly, use Appics tokens to buy, sell, mint NFTs, which is huge.
I always saw that as your great untapped treasure chest of, you've got people creating all these assets, turn them into NFTs. Mm-hmm. Let me share a little secret I've never told anyone before and hadn't even remembered until you mentioned it. Doing Appics is one of the things that gave me the courage and conviction that Telos EVM would work. Because what we did with Appics is we basically recreated Steam in a smart contract on Telos. So we took that, the reason it took a year is we basically took all the things that were happening on Steam that were baked in, and we recreated them on a smart contract. And around the time that was happening, we took that on, and I saw that was going to work. I said to myself, we have this unused resource in a EVM contract that's just sitting there that no one's doing anything with, and we could do the exact same thing. It's been sitting there for 9 months unused. No one was going to use it. Everyone knew about it, but nobody trusted it. And I said, you know what? This was proven to me not only that it can be done, but that we have a team in guys like Jesse and other people on the team. We have a team at Telos to actually make it happen, and that's why we made it happen. So I never shared that, but bringing Appics onto Telos was part of what made me realize that we could do Telos EVM, and then pushing everybody in that direction so it could happen.
Wow.
So thanks.
That's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. And I think, a lot of time, this goes also like both ways, because it's, one thing inspires the other, like to see what's possible and, to have developers believe in that vision and mission and, build in features that you need or want, like that collaboration, that level of commitment and collaboration, I think is super key for any form of, partnership or whatever you want to do in the space. If you have good partners on both sides, and even if you're not sure if it'll work, because especially with development, it's always like, will this work or not? Is it worth the time, the resources, everything? But if you, have those teams that can support each other, it can create something truly special. And I think EVM, we haven't really tapped into like even the potential of that yet.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. Yeah. Exactly. That's the point. Like it's going to be.
So the way you said it is very nice and polite, but the fact is there was in a year-long process that's hard, and a lot of things are going wrong, and once in a while, and then having to be fixed. There was pushback between our teams, between you and me personally. And that's fine. Here we are. Like, I don't think you and I are pretending to like each other and get along, because we got out the other side. And sometimes I would say it feels like when people are at a momentary impasse, it's hard to go, oh, okay, so we're going to get to the other side of this and be good. But it happened on a couple of occasions, one big one, I think, and no one knew about it. And we can talk. I mean, I'm not saying we should go into it now, but there were the bumps in the road, and we got through them as a group and made it to success. So I think it's important to remember, with all the things going on in the world and Telos and Appics and everything right now, and blockchain in general, right, in this past year, if you stick with it and you work hard and you work together, you can get to the other side of disagreements and have something awesome at the end. That's another thing that makes me so proud of being associated with Appics.
Yeah, that had to be pretty kind of challenging to get through, really. But I'm actually more curious about what kind of things you're working on now and into the future, because you mentioned this NFT platform is really just a first step. What are other apps you guys are things you guys are working on? Coming up.
So excited to talk about this. So first and foremost, we're working on Appics. We're now finally live and launched, and obviously, like, it's in human nature that. I just remember, and I just did an interview before this, and he asked me about my favorite crypto moment or something. And I remember how excited I was. Like, I was pitching Appics in 2000, when was it, like 18? It was live, it was running, and as if we had, a huge community, but we were just like, I think it was not even, maybe it was a click dummy, maybe it was beta, we were on Steam. But I was like so excited about, the concept and everything, but we weren't ready back then. We were not ready, right? So we did the whole migration and everything we just talked about, and now we're finally ready. And I think we needed like a bit of time to let that sink in, that now we're, at a stage where we can start growing Appics, where we can, we still, obviously there's bugs to fix, there's development to be done, but we're now at a stage where we have basically a finished product that now is just evolving. And to get to that stage, like to now be here, the next steps are definitely, to grow the community, because keep in mind, like we have, yes, we've gained like, I think over 20,000 downloads or something, but everything was organic. We have not done a single like actual marketing campaign yet because we for such a long time have been just developing, building. And we were ready in terms of marketing in 2019. Like I did a world tour. I was on all the stages. Like, we were ready to get it out there, but we were technologically not ready. So now we've done the work. Development is ready. Now we need to get back into that place that we were in back then, and with even more enthusiasm and energy, right? So that's the first one.
Appics had the world's worst stealth mode. Like most companies doing what you're doing and building would have done that out of sight, but you guys did it in plain sight, and so everybody saw your whole journey who was involved. What's crazy but also exciting to me is you guys started out as a marketing company, right? And you guys haven't really started marketing. So what Appics because it's just gone really live. So I can't wait to see what you do when you can take the cover off and go ta-da and really start marketing it. I have so much faith in Appics.
Thank you.
And you, Uma, you and your whole team you're going to go crazy because if anybody's seen you in person or seen your videos about how you market this stuff, it's just like, yes, she's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's how I am.
And development, that always takes much longer than people realize or expect to, so it can be challenging when you've got a community of people who are very excited about it, constantly wondering about it too, huh?
For sure. And it's simple to market something when you truly believe in it. Like if you think that something like, I have this drink and it's going to change your life, you're going to be healthy. Like you don't need to market it. Like it's like a no brainer. You'll tell your friends about it. You want to talk about it. Just like, Douglas is talking about it because he actually believes in it. So I think this is so powerful. And so I'm excited every time I go on stage and talk about it. But again, so we were building. Now is the time. And it also the ICO and everything. People are like, we did the whole like raising. But back then, our intention was technology is ready. We're going to use that for marketing. But that didn't happen, right? We had to fund like 2 years of development and like continue building. And we've invested, like, I'm not going to tell you how much exactly, but like 7 figures of our own, capital and like savings essentially, because we believe in it so much. So we've continued building, and now is really the time to align all the partnerships, get back to that place where we were in, and then really start marketing. But at the same time, not just like we can't do the same marketing strategy as we plan on doing in 2019. Times have changed and we had to change with them. So besides, for example, the NFT marketplace, we've also been like building on the metaverse side of things. And people like didn't understand it at first. And I think a few people will still say, hey, why are you now focused on metaverse? And the app isn't even like, like fully out there. But the metaverse is going to be a huge marketing strategy. And not just that, but it goes way beyond that. Like right now, we're at a moment in time where we're extremely early, like we were with other things. And if you would have been, on the NFT side, for example, before it took off, that's where the gold nuggets are. If you would have, gotten into crypto back in 2013, obviously the upside, until now is tremendous. So instead of waiting until something is already ready in terms of, mainstream potential, but getting in now and building on it and investing in it, I think is the right strategy. And because we're no longer in the crypto space, but now it's become the Web3 space and everybody's aware of it, nobody really knows where it's going. Of course, we can't say, is it going to be, VR? Is it going to be, augmented reality first? But it doesn't really matter. Like what we're all about is looking at what technologies do we have available and what can we do and build now. So that's why we bought 2 motion tracking suits, and we bought the computers that are able to do like real-time rendering and building with Unreal Engine, learning Blender, and these different tools so that we can build our own world, our own space, and not just ours, but also for the entire Telos community. To like imagine if you had somebody or somebody come to a project and say, hey, what's your project about? And you're like, oh, wait, come meet me in the metaverse and see for yourself. So you meet them there and you can actually show it. Like the future of Web3, of this entire space, of social media, of any space, is going to be more immersive. And so that's what we've been focusing on, because we see the value in that. And we know that once we get started with this, it's going to take off because there's so much potential in it. Like if and I'm so excited once you get to see it, and I'll definitely invite you as one of the the early testers, which we're already doing now. And we gathered content like last week. It's so close to the finishing line, or the starting line, however you want to see it, where we host
That's the starting line.
Starting line where we can host events regularly. And yeah, so.
But you had your event, right? Like, let's not forget, you had that awesome metaverse event early on, and it was cool. And it's like win more metaverse. People want to see it. People want to be part of it. I can't wait. You guys are going to kill it. So you're already doing it. And it sounds like you're doing like way, way, way more. And your plans are so much bigger than I even understood.
Yes, our plans are much bigger. And in terms of like metaverse, it's not just that we think it's cool, but we saw the results from that one event with on Decentraland. We got more downloads in a day than we did before. So we're like, okay, we're onto something. Now imagine that, but with a much higher quality, where we are able to build our own entire worlds and can decide, like people can fly around, and like there's games where you can earn tokens that you can then use again in the app to upgrade your voting power, that it becomes a circular economy. That's really our vision.
With all the data stored in dStore.
Of course.
Right?
So
that's when you said, if you really believe in something, it's not marketing, it's just talking about it. That's exactly how I feel about dStore, and I think Erika too. Like, we're doing all these things about it, so I can really just in my heart understand exactly what you mean there. It's like, no, people need. It's not marketing. It's not like we need to report. It's like people need to know about this. People need to know. We feel like people need to know about dStore. And the people need to know about Telos, and the people need to know about Appics. And I know that for you, like, you're so mission driven, and it's like, we got to tell people, because every day that they don't know about Appics is a day that their life could be better. So 100%.
Do you think that having your team, having been in a marketing agency in the past, or a part of one, has had made you uniquely situated to be better prepared for like new trends or things that this changing landscape? I know that a lot of, especially social media marketing, is like staying on top of what's the new rules and all that. So do you think that's helped you guys in this journey as non-developers?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Like, that's always when people ask me about our USP, I say that we really have the experience, and we have the team, the knowledge in both worlds, in both blockchain, in crypto, and the mainstream world, which not a lot of teams do, to have that deeper knowledge and understanding of. And like I said, we've always been early with trends. Like, even before YouTube came out, like, one of the first to build channels on there. Like, it continued. I can give you a lot of examples, but it's always been about, like, understanding where does the attention of people move, and then deploying there quickly, or doing something about it. And even now in this landscape, it's faster than ever, right? I mean, we have 2 verified accounts on TikTok, if anyone cares to know. Why? Because, and like with 100,000 followers, and my personal one's like 15,000. And it's just because we were early. Like, we saw, this was before they were named TikTok or bought by the company. But my point here is we see trends happening. We're like, okay, let's try this out. Same with Steemit, right? Like, the day Tony told me about this, I was like, all right, let me try it. And it worked. We were among the top 10 bloggers. So it's like, we try things quickly and then understand, like, where's the value in that? And is it going to scale? And when it does, we're like, okay, let's go all in.
You're so plugged in, I think, to the people who are really young, people who are really engaged, people all over the world. Your ambassadors quickly became Telos ambassadors, and they're some of the most vocal and hardworking and everything ambassadors. Like, people don't know that people like Faisy and Ajika and a lot of other people came into Telos directly because of Appics, and now I know they're excited about both projects, right? Which actually, I think, they go hand in hand so much, like, how can you be excited about Appics without being at least a little excited about Telos, and vice versa? So I just see these organizations as like this, and that's what I want to see more come in, right? I've always said that a lot of blockchains, probably most, are creating things like that are as a platform, right, that you launch from. But I want Telos to be a network, and the difference is a platform, everyone does their own thing, and on a network, everything interacts and gains strength and synergy through each other. Ethereum has that in many big ways. Most others don't, but I think Telos has a unique opportunity to redefine for people what that means and what that looks like as NFT projects, as EVM, as social media projects like Appics, and even things we're doing like ecological and ESG elements will get woven in and just bring more strength everywhere. So for me, Appics right now is the poster child for that because it's so advanced. You guys are working so hard. I'm impressed. In case anyone hasn't noticed, I am a fan.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys have done such an incredible job of building that community. Like Douglas said, these ambassadors that are like, so, I mean, their lives have been improved by this, right? I mean, in probably more ways than one. How does that make you feel that
that's what we're doing?
Exactly. So is it, I guess that's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is what it's all about, right? Like we're like what this space is about. And also I want, Telos to be about is to have this form of, community and collaboration where it's like, we recognize the skills of people, come together and build and create together. So that's also what we say. We often refer to our community as like the Appics family because we see them as like an extended, like version of our team, and they can do so much. And when they're really passionate, from like intrinsically motivated because they love and believe in the project, they'll do incredible things. Like for example, like Tushik in Bangladesh was like setting up his own workshop or teaching people about Appics. It's like, it's incredible where you're like, without you having to like, pay them to do it. And you're like, oh, you do this or here, I'll pay you this and you do that. Then it's like, okay, I'll do it because I'll get paid. But of course they are incentivized as ambassadors, but at the same time, it's like, they really believe in it and they want to be part of it. So it's like, you're also invested just like the team and the rest of us. So that makes it really powerful. And so for me, everything that we've been working on, we're now trying to put on paper and then also release a roadmap pretty soon so that people can see and understand where we're going, what the next big things are that we're doing this year, and our overall vision, understand it better. But I think also like it's very difficult to sometimes put timelines on certain development milestones because like we said in the past, like the last thing we want to do is like over promise and then under deliver, like rather under promise and then over deliver. So that's sort of how we've been doing things. And but I'm excited to now get the word out about the things we've been doing in the background. And just quickly about the point that you said about Telos, I think really the Telos community, what could set it truly apart is, again, we're talking about the metaverse and immersiveness. Like imagine having all these projects, in one place. You can walk around this place and you can visit the different projects and see what they're all about and test it and do it. So I think really now is the perfect time to get Telos also set up as like an immersive, ahead of the game blockchain, where a lot of blockchains right now are not yet playing in that arena. To be one of the first. So I'm excited for that, and also to collaborate with more different Telos projects, because I think, again, the power is in collaboration and in understanding, who are you building with, who's part of your team. If you don't know who is part of your team, then that's a problem. Like, how are you going to build the best things or bridge certain projects or products or applications or platforms? I think there's an attempt now, like we're seeing on Telegram, there's groups being created. But again, Telegram has like 1 million groups and many different chats. You have Discord, you have this and that. Like if we had one playground where we can, actually like see each other and walk around and like explore, and like that would be so much fun. So that's really where I see the future and like what we're building. So this is not just for Appics, it's for, even beyond that. And then combine that with, like, let's say we have all the different Telos dApps in the metaverse, and you can walk around and see that. And then we have like a fashion show, and we have artists from the mainstream world, like, singers, songwriters, and in a way gamifying, an event where you can get different Telos based tokens, and you can fly around and earn them. So that's really our bigger vision and what we're trying to do here.
I want to see Appics and Cluist get together, where you create those, because Cluist has a metaverse element too, and it's very much like a cool like 2023 version of Pokemon Go,
right.
But with user generated content. And I think that Appics is the awesome, cool partner for a lot of that user generated content. So I would love to see you guys get together. It just came to me when you were talking. I'll make the introduction to those guys. You probably met them already when you at Consensus. When you were speaking there, you gave a great speech. I love your speech, but for me, the moment that I liked the most of your speech was when somebody said, "Why would you use Appics when I've got Instagram?" And I was like, "How much does Instagram pay you?" It's like everyone's like,
was that a seed? It seemed like a no-brainer question.
It was not a plant. That was not anything. It was just like, please, people, get it. This is in one question. Yeah. This is the ad for Appics.
Yeah, but I think, but what you just said, like the learning curve needs to happen. And I think now we're at this stage. So I'm actually glad, I'm grateful for the journey we've been on, and that it did take much longer, because I don't think if we would have launched in 2019, even if we were ready on the technology side, the market wouldn't have been ready. But now is the perfect time. So I'm very much excited and looking forward to this year and then the years.
I'm making a little note, not investment advice, to go and look at the price of Appics token.
Yeah, it's like right now.
I think a lot of people might be sleeping on it right now. That's my early Doug's Alpha drop for this episode.
I think so.
Do your own research.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I do think that we're running out of time for this episode for today. So we just have a couple of last kind of questions we ask most of our interviewers. So first, how can we follow you, our listeners? How can we follow you and learn more about your work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Appics is on all the platforms, from Twitter to LinkedIn to Telegram to Instagram and TikTok and everywhere. And of course, Appics itself it's always Appics official, sometimes with a dot. But if you type in Appics or Appics official, you'll find it. Otherwise, we have a link tree as well. That's link dot, and then I think it's TREE/Appics. The Linktree handle. Also on Telegram. On Telegram, it's Appics official as well. And or let me check quickly. Appics_official on Telegram, so you can join that. And yeah, my name. You can see my name here as well. Uma. Also on pretty much every platform. So always feel free to.
Awesome.
The links will all be down here. All the links will be right there.
Awesome. And then finally, what is a favorite blockchain app of yours right now? I don't know if we should say you can or can't say Appics. I guess that's up to you.
I mean, honestly, yes, Appics is my favorite app, and also the only one that I, check on a daily basis. I would say another blockchain app or application that I use would be Brave browser, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Because it's perfect. I mean, you always search, so why not as well do it in a Web3 way?
I always wanted to be able to use the Brave browser's wallet with Telos. And I was like, oh, how do we get those? But here's a tip. You can use it with Telos EVM.
Ooh. Oh, because it's MetaMask based.
Yeah, it's MetaMask. Yeah,
I always love when it tells me how much time I've saved just by not having all of the loading time of everything that it's blocked. It's great for pages.
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to see, what am I doing right now? I'm going to post those on Appics.
Oh, nice.
Oh, awesome.
And you're going to like it.
Yep. Loading. Nice. Okay.
If you can get Uma to like your content on Appics, you're gonna climb the charts, right? So
awesome.
Yeah, you can't miss that.
We can say if you've watched until the end now from this episode and you share a post on Appics with the hashtag GoodBlock, I'll upvote your post.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love it.
Now I'm
I
bummed.
just got that on video. I'm gonna have a little race with you to get this out.
Awesome.
This
All
has been
right.
so fun.
Well, this
This
is
episode has been so cool. So I'm excited to.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks so much for being here, Uma. And we will see you next time. Hopefully we get to see you on again soon to talk more
Absolutely.
about all the stuff you guys are
Would love to. Thanks for having me, guys. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
What a great episode. So excited. Posting this on Appics now.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. That was just such an awesome interview. And thanks again, Uma, for joining us for that. Now it is time for us to dive into some BS of the week. And we have a couple of pretty juicy ones this week. Nathaniel, do you want to get us started?
First, we're going to talk about GTX. If you have some FTX tokens or even some Mt. Gox tokens that you've lost in the past, apparently GTX is going to try and claim them.
So they're saying that it's a public marketplace for crypto claims. So if somebody's gone bankrupt, like FTX or whatever, and like Nathaniel said, even as far as Mt. Gox, it sounds like they're going to try and claim those or provide a marketplace for people who have them and don't maybe know what to do with them to offload them. Not exactly sure how it's going to work, but we'll link some details for you guys below. But that was definitely some big news this morning. It's the founders of 3AC or some co-founders of 3AC. So, there's definitely some room for speculation here about what the purpose of this whole thing is.
Previously, they vaporized $1 billion, $1 trillion even. They've even vaporized $1 trillion, and they didn't even get to. They had a yacht named Much Wow that they were going to christen, and they never got to christen it. They had to sell it. It's interesting that they're suddenly back and rolling on this and trying to claw back a lot of the losses or make a market for the losses. I really like that idea, but I think that it's just fraught with peril.
I agree. It's a decent idea to make whole a lot of people who lost a lot of money in these kinds of things, but it also feels pretty oddly self-serving because we know how much these guys were invested in all of those things too, right?
Right.
As a company.
The name GTX itself lends itself to FTX and Mt. Gox, right? Like you can feel the tension there that you don't necessarily want to invest in.
Yeah, so we will watch that one very closely. Our other news that we have for you this week, some more BS. Artists are also accusing Adobe of tracking their processes for its AI algorithm. It turns out that this is something you opted into if you were an Adobe user a long time ago. One of those toggle options that's on when you start and you have to know to go find it and turn it off. So basically they're using a designer's process to figure out how to replicate it, right? So now they're saying this is like the next set of jobs that they're coming after with AI. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, very crazy. Adobe is one of those companies that we love to hate right now, right? Like the additional Pantone costs, although I guess Pantone itself could be
probably partly behind
that, right? But basically Adobe passing those costs on to the user and diverting it, going to a subscription model, being just incredibly expensive for what the tool actually can do.
Right. And so it's like I'm probably paying more for the tool now, but now I have to pay extra also to get Pantone and to get things that I already had access to previously.
And you're paying for this new this little opt-in to sit here and figure out how you do your processes.
Work and replace you later.
Right.
So is there also, though, a conversation here about not necessarily graphic designers having their jobs become up after or whatever, but like even just regular artists who like, is their design process something that should be copyrighted, I guess? How did they get the rights to like what their work is, right? I mean, sounds like most of them have already signed it away, unfortunately, without realizing it, right?
Yeah, and to make matters worse, Adobe might even own it.
Yikes.
So I don't necessarily think that you can copyright a process, a process like your brush strokes in your art, but when these jobs start coming out from Adobe, these AI content creation jobs start coming out, we've kind of reached post content, because no longer is the focus on creating the thing, it's creating as many of that thing in variable ways as that you can. It's just like GUI said last week. If you haven't seen that podcast, you probably should.
It's such a good one. Yeah.
It's not about content creating that one piece of content. It's about creating like 10,000 of it, because that's just more profitable.
Well, definitely something to think about. Well, thank you for that awesome BS of the Week chat. And now it is time for us to have Moss's Market Minute. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. 60 seconds on the clock to give us this week's non-financial advice and market news. All right. And 3, 2, 1, go.
This week, we're talking about loss aversion. Loss aversion is the psychological effect that losing an amount of money causes double the amount of pain than the joy gained from earning or finding that same amount. Say you have $100, you lost $100. Ooh, that hurts a lot more than say you gain $100. Let me know in the comments if you've ever fallen into any of these common loss aversion scenarios. Investing in low return guaranteed investments over promising investments that carry a little bit higher risk. Not selling a stock or crypto that you hold when you feel it should be abandoned. Selling a stock that has gone up slightly in price just to realize gain of any amount, when your analysis indicates the stock should be held. Telling yourself that an investment is not a loss until it's realized. I'm guilty of all these things myself. 2022 is in the books. 2023 is new. Just adjust your risk management, and we'll see what you can do this year. Give us some good numbers and put them in the comments. That's it.
Thank you so much for that Market Minute, Nathaniel. That was a great one. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. If you'd like to learn more about the Web3 world, please check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon. Also, if there is a person or project that you'd like to see featured on Around the Block, please let us know in the comments. We love to hear you guys' ideas, and we love to know what you want to see on the show. And then also don't forget to participate in that Appics challenge that Uma shared today. So if you go into Appics, post a picture with the hashtag GoodBlock. Uma will give it an upvote. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Me too. All right. We'll see you soon. Thanks.
Bye. See you next episode.